I want to do an oil update, and this is a concept photo of the new Sharia law that's going to be modified after the United States kicks out those crazy religious fundamentalists in Iran that are taking a hold of that country. I think that there might be a lot of other modifications, including medicinal marijuana, and who the heck knows. Now, as far as what's going on in the oil industry, I want to refer back to Pastor Lindsey Williams. And I don't know. I take everything he says now with a mixture. I don't know. I don't think the guy's like playing a snake oil game per se, but he's getting some bad information for sure, disinformation. Now, I want to examine this this was from 10/10/2011, October 10th, 2011. Was back on Pastor Butch Powell's show, per Lindsey Williams, called The Decision. And, I look at this little prediction here, but, I don't like reading too much into this and getting into the conspiracy giddy rumors because it could really throw you off. It goes, at one point, gasoline prices will rise like a rocket. Now, I always figured that when the Straits of Hormuz might be closed, and more like it could rise like a rocket and fall like a stone, too. I mean, it's gonna go like zing, zang, zing, I don't know, it's the best way to describe it. But you know what happened when they had that rumor that even an oil pipeline in Saudi was hit by some terrorists? It was a rumor. Oil spiked over like $110 inside of no time, just off of that. Now, if there's some serious problems over there, yeah, oil's going to spike. So I also think, a lot of this stuff is being set up, because they're, in other words, we know what all the military moves are that's been going on. They got the F-22 Raptor jets in the area. Israel actually probably can use the air bases just north of Iran, because they got permission to possibly do that. And, there's a number of U.S. carriers and ships in the area. It's building up. Also, you can see all the statements coming out from the military. So it's pretty obvious, Now, the one thing I kind of expected, I got no patience, too. It's like I expected oil to pull back below 100 before they attacked. They always do this crap. And I didn't wait. I got in there. I'll still win out because I'm kind of patient, but I'm always afraid to be out of the game. That's a risk you take. You don't want to be out of the game, right? You don't want to be out of the game. That's why you buy silver, you buy gold. You don't always buy it at the lowest point. But this story is basically from today, Thursday, May 17th. I know it's later in the evening, but U.S. President Barack Obama will seek support to tap emergency oil reserves from other Group 8 countries at the summit this weekend before the European Union's July embargo of Iranian crude oil, so Kyoto News Agency reported. So, considering how low the oil prices are already, I always think they do that to pull them back because you're going to get a hell of a percentage gain. Now, this is the winger. This guy, and I can't display anything I read or, well, basically this is like his little bio, about what he's about, Dr. Ken Moores. Dr. Ken Moores, internationally recognized expert in global risk management, oil, natural gas policy, and finance. And, he's got all these degrees and everything on him. He's always appearing in all these different, television and radio shows about finance. Well, I guess I really can't display where I've seen it, but he's got a prediction out there that oil can go to like $200 a barrel by July 1st, 2012. And I'm like, really? I don't know. I mean, sometimes I associate this with this Lindsey Williams because he gets a mixture of information. But I always kind of thought this one line, this is like I took out his talking points. At one point, gasoline prices would rise like a rocket. Yeah, I think so because, if there's an attack with Iran trying to take out the religious clerics, not trying to take out Iran, it's just the, supreme leadership that runs the place, not the president. The president doesn't really run Iran per se. It's a religious leader, and he just appoints people. So, not exactly a democratic nation, but, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to belabor the point on that too much, but I think that, you know, there might be, I always kind of focused in on this line. You're never going to know when it's going to happen. You know, it's almost like you think it's going to happen by the summer. And I figured it was going to happen mid to late spring, because I don't think the summer is like the best timetable for it. And, you know, looking at oil pulling back the way it is, and them trying to pull out strategic oil reserves, they don't want like a serious price shock in the market when this happens. It kind of looks pretty obvious. It does. So, and also this is like a long range chart, weekly chart on the oil. You can see what happened back here, you know. The oil crept up and it fell like a stone. Well, I think the upward curve on oil is going to probably resemble this downward curve on oil that we had back in 2008. I think it's actually going to shoot up faster than that. If there's a problem in the Middle East and they do this attack, it all depends on how it comes out. It all depends on how it comes out. Now, me, I'm pretty conservative. I'm not going to try to hang around for $200 a barrel oil. I might be kicking myself, you know. I'm just going to get the hell out of the crap and take whatever gain I got, and that's it. And you probably wind up putting it in your gas tank, you know. I mean, that's what's going to happen, right? I mean, it's going to be one of those things where you make money and you wind up having to spend it because the price, every damn thing is going to go up anyway. You know, so it's not a win-win situation. It's a win and spend it situation. But, you know, this whole thing here, not that I have too much faith in technicals, but sometimes I do. This whole thing here, this little, you know, flag, that could be a giant bullish flag. And, you know, that would bring it up to like over $150 a barrel if you extended this thing out. So that might be what will happen. You know, I kind of like, you know, the technicals actually with oil are, they seem to work extremely well in like little ranges where it goes like $10 moves, $10 moves, $10 moves, but they're kind of tough to, you know, forecast out for so many months. That, I think, is like pretty damn impossible with oil, because I think this market is more rigged than even silver in a way, even though there'd be arguments against that. But I do think, you know, the one thing that's obvious out there, it looks like the attack on Iran's coming up. But, you know, it could spike really fast and it could drop like a stone. That, you know, I'm going to play it a little cautious. If I make some money off this stuff, I'm already going to start selling. I'm probably going to sell too early, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play more conservative. I would not suggest going into triple leverage on oil. I don't like triple leverage unless you figure something's going to happen within a week. Then it's okay. But if it might happen next month, the month after, that fund roads pretty fast. It could be a killer win. It could also be a killer loss too. Double leverage is pretty dangerous in a way, but it's not nearly as dangerous. Like, for instance, if I was off on this thing and nothing happened, and say back sometime in October, oil spiked up to $125 a barrel, I would still come out ahead on a double leverage. Even more so than if I bought some kind of index on oil. That's, you know, it erodes, but it doesn't get killed. But you definitely don't want to hold it for years. So maybe if somebody's making a play now for oil, probably go with the double leverage. You won't gain as much, but, you know, I don't know if this is going to play out right away, because I don't have the crystal ball. And I do want to point out, this is going to be the new Muslim religious law in Iran with medicinal marijuana. And the whole place is going to change, and it's going to be a free place, not like with the religious clerics telling everybody what the hell to do. There's going to be freedom, but I guess, you know, you got to have some of the Muslim tradition in there, so there's the veil. Yeah, I know that might be called sexist or whatever, but I don't consider anything sexist, you know. That's the way I look at it. And as far as what's going to happen soon, I think there's going to be, I think it's pretty obvious that there's going to be the war with Iran fairly soon. I mean, just look at what's been said, from the U.S. Air Force generals about them taking out the whole regime and everything like that. And, it might be a very fast thing. I'm going to state this. A lot of people were like, I actually think if they could pull this war off with Iran by hitting the Islamic Republican Guard, whatever the heck you want to call them, the religious clerics, and not if they can just keep the damage down, hopefully, against the Iranian people. And I know they're trying to do this. Because it's like you don't want an attack on a country. You want to get those people out of the top. And they're bad news. They are bad news. It's something that really has to be done. So, sometimes you got to fight for good and, fight against evil and be on the side of good. I know there's a lot of propaganda out there about the banksters and the Western elite and how Iran is trying to undermine the financial Western system through their oil bourse, and that's partly the reason why the war is going to happen. But it's not all the reason. There's, it's a complicated issue basically, but I have to state that, if you say, for instance, the United States was gold is money and all this stuff, and everything wasn't based upon oil, and we were just, trying to develop our domestic oil supplies, it probably would be a smart idea to take out this regime in Iran anyway. I'm just for it. I actually think this is a just war. In a case going against Gaddafi, Gaddafi was pretty open about a lot of more things, He probably had half his guard dressed like this. I mean, it's not necessarily sex. It's like, there's the woman's body. The woman looks nice, and she likes to present herself in a nice way. It's not, whatever. And that more or less, like, Gaddafi was more like women's rights, and they actually had more rights in that country than anywhere in any of those countries over there in the Middle East. I don't know why the heck. Well, I do know why I went after Gaddafi, because he actually got so financially strong that, they took him out. They took him out for that reason, just because he got so big. And he was going to base, another northern African currency, dinar, based upon gold. Yeah, that was a threat to the banksters. I know the banksters are evil and stuff, but the guys that are running Iran are messed up too. They are. They are bad news. They are bad news. They actually got some real legitimate reasons to go after this stuff. If they will not tolerate anything. They really are a bunch of petty dictators. And, that's one thing I don't even like, when Christians get on with that stuff, where they're very, fundamentalist and stuff. I don't like that either. But when you're talking, when you get it into like where it is sometimes in some places in the Middle East, they really get ridiculous. But it's like they apply the law to the common people, but they don't apply it to themselves 90% of the time. It's a big show. They're just control freaks. That's what they are. So you know what I say to control freaks? Take them out. Take them out. That's not a problem. The way I look at it, these people that run Iran are probably even worse than the banksters. I would say that's almost a bet. They're control freaks to the max. They're different types of control freaks, but they are control freaks. So, if you're in the military and you got an opportunity to waste a control freak, no problem. That's the way I look at it. No problem at all.